Peace, y'all. What's cracking? Before we start this episode of Real Notes, I wanted to let you know that my first book ever, Real Notes, Culture Writing on the Margins of Music and Movies, is out on March 8th, 2024. About 2-ish years ago, my good homie Austin Williams approached me about writing a primer on the worlds of digital journalism, criticism, and how they intersect for his journalism students over at City College. And naturally, I jumped at the opportunity. This book is part autobiography, part journalism textbook, and part essay collection spotlighting some of my earlier work, particularly from my old stomping grounds over at djbooth.net. Shout out to Z for the permission for letting me use all my old work. This industry has always been unstable, but with layoffs and general consolidation happening at publications all over, this book feels even more pertinent now than it did while I was writing it. And while it may be for students, anyone who's a fan of writing, music, film, and this podcast in particular will probably appreciate it. This book is only available digitally through the Kindle app for now. I promise we got physical stuff coming, but we're doing something special for that, so y'all just got to stay locked in. But for now, go to Amazon, search for Real Notes, Culture Writing on the Margins of Music and Movies, and pre-order today. No, you don't need to have a Kindle in order to read the book. Just download the Kindle app, and your pre-order will be sent to you on release day. Good looks to all of y'all for your support and your consideration. It really, really means the world. Now let's get to talking. What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New York rapper producer Shemar. We spoke about Mo Better Blues and the films of Spike Lee, Shark Boy and Lavagirl, Spy Kids, and the films of Robert Rodriguez, listening to Kendrick, Tyler the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt while growing up, transitioning from poetry to beatmaking to rapping, labels and boxes within underground hip-hop, and the creative process behind his two latest projects, Obtuse Ways to Say That I Love You, and the child actor-produced Sunscreen. Come fuck with us.
Hey.
Remind me where you're going to school.
I go to Brooklyn College.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What year are you?
I'm in my technically I'm a junior, but I've been fucking up these past couple semesters. So I gotta get my life together really quick if I want to graduate on time. I might take like one more semester over. But yeah, I'm a junior.
Oh damn. Okay. I didn't realize you were still in school this whole time.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No. So okay. So I guess we're gonna have to talk about that too. But but what's it called? Like, I mean, I'm gonna say it when we like start too. But like, thank you for being here. It means the most. I'm so happy to do this.
Bro, it means the most to me. This is crazy. This is so crazy. I've been listening since like at least it has to be episode 1 or 2. Definitely the one that Michael was on, and that was like episode 4. It wasn't like Arm & Hammer episode 3.
The one that Michael was on had to have been like somewhere in the first 10, maybe like number 6 or 7. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah, but I've been here since there.
Thank you. No, that means so much. God damn. Yeah. So yeah, full circle. And okay. So yeah, no, fuck it. We started. What's up? What's cracking? Welcome back to Real Notes. We're moving, pushing. Season 4 is underway. My name is Dylan, CineMasai. Got a lot of names, do a lot of shit outside, inside, all sides. I'm with somebody else who does a lot of things really well. He's still in school. That's always really impressive to me. Man's a fucking rapper, producer, engineer, fucking rolling with the punches, all sorts of crazy shit. He's got 2 great projects that were released in the last couple of months. We got Shemar. Shemar's here. Fucking Sunscreen with child actor is out now. Obtuse Ways to Say That I Love You is out now. Go listen to them both. They're both nuts. Like we already said it, but thank you so much for being here. We were gonna do this a while ago, but I'm happy we waited until Sunscreen came out. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here. This is dope. Yeah, Sunscreen, 2 ways.
Hell yeah. Yeah, nah, like it's been it's really been a pleasure to sit and listen to these projects and just kind of like see you coming into your own. But before we get into you coming into your own, let me ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here.
Yes.
What was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Oh, strong opinion is hard. I feel like I don't know if I say like strong opinion, then I have to be like I was out in Albany with my partner, and we randomly decided to watch what is it called? Love is Blind. But I don't really
Yeah.
want to talk about Love is Blind. I don't know. So
No, you
like,
can pick whatever you want.
nah, I want to Mo Better Blues. I watched Mo Better
Ooh.
Blues for the first time at the end of the year, and that shit kind of fucked me up.
All right. Okay. Yeah, nah, because to me, I feel like I brought this up a couple times. It's maybe the most underrated Spike Lee movie of them all.
Shit
So
is
how did you
crazy, bruh.
so how did you feel? Tell me how you felt about Mo Better Blues.
Man, I'm ass with remembering character names, but Denzel Washington's character, bruh, I don't know. He was hitting a little too close to home in certain ways. So like seeing his downfall was like, and this is like, end of the year. I'm reflecting on life and everything. I know I have like music plans coming up. I'm just looking at this. I'm in a relationship. I'm thinking about my relationships and all that stuff. And a lot of my music that I've been like working on, thinking about around that time is kind of centered around like my relationship with women because of like personal shit. So it was just kind of like seeing that movie was like, fuck, this is like the dark path, you know? So like on that personal level, I really connected with it. I'm a I can't say I'm a big Spike Lee fan because like I just haven't watched a lot of Spike Lee stuff. But it's like I'm a big do the right thing fan. I'm a
Mhm.
big I saw the Malcolm X movie in middle school and I remember really enjoying it, even though I haven't watched it again. And I'm a big fan of Mo Better Blues. I definitely need to tap in more. I've been trying to like I wanted to like set this intention of like watching like 2 movies a week just to watch more movies. So like that end of the year was my time doing that. Mo Better Blues was just like I don't know. I think I was listening to like Call Out Culture and they were talking about Spike Lee and brought up Mo Better Blues, and I was like, "That's a cold name. Let me just watch it," you know. But yeah, definitely that movie. It shit fucked me up. I've been
Yeah, that
thinking
movie's
about it
crazy.
a lot.
Yeah, no, that movie's crazy. I think I might have seen it for the first time when I was in high school, and I don't know. I mean, like, I guess I kind of related to Denzel's characters. I also don't remember his name, but like, no, Fleek. That was his name. His name's Fleek,
Yeah, please.
and just like the whole, like watching his downfall and watching his lips get fucked up, and just thinking that like, because like of course like the movie starts with him as a kid and his dad's kind of like hammering the practice shit into him, and then he fucks his lips up at the end and he can't play the trumpet anymore, and then he and his lady have a kid, and like he did, like I always like there's so much about Mo Better Blues that I love, but I love how it ends with him looking at his son and he's about to make him start practicing, and he's like, you know what, nah, go outside and play. You can practice later. Like
Not,
it's such a small moment, but it was just nice to see. Like like he got humility beat into him in like the last like 30 minutes of that movie. So it was nice to see him kind of like learn the lesson and ease up a little bit.
mm,
That was yeah, I don't know why, but that part always stuck with me. And then on top of that, like all the performances are great. The cinematography is gorgeous. It's so colorful. Like that and Do the Right Thing. They're both just like these like really saturated, colorful movies. Like the guys in the suits and all the blue
yeah.
lighting in the jazz club, and like listening to the Marsalis the Mo Better Blues song, I think was written by Wynton and Bradford Marsalis. And
Mm,
they performed it, like obviously like the actors didn't perform the songs,
yeah.
but yeah, no, like just like that's such like a vivid movie to me. Like
Mm.
it's like very purple hued. It like tastes like grapes. I don't know, like I'm weird with movies like that sometimes. That's a great movie, and I'm happy that like watching that for the first time is such a like, I wouldn't call it mind expanding, but it's like it's one of those, I don't know. I'm really happy to hear you enjoyed it though, because you're not the first person
Yeah.
I've talked to recently, or you're not the only person I've talked to recently who's seen it for the first time. I had a homie who just watched it for the first time like 2-3 weeks ago, and he was just like for him it was like life changing. He's like, it's the best thing I've ever seen, best Spike Lee movie. Like he was going crazy about it. It's one of those, you know.
It's definitely my favorite Spike Lee movie at this point. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to see more and experience more. But with the ending, I don't know. The ending, like out of context, felt like so good to me. Like just, that the whole thing you brought up, okay, yeah, son, go outside. I was like, oh, but like what it took to get that scene with him and his girlfriend was like, oh, I don't this is going on for, but then no, it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. And then it's
Yeah,
like in that moment, I'm like rooting for her not to fold. It's like, come on, man.
yeah.
I know he's off, I know he's in a desperate situation. You can be like, I'm here for you, friend, but like, I don't know. And I mean, it worked out in the end. I thought based on like that scene, I thought it was gonna be like a tragic ending. So, I'm mentally preparing for it.
Same,
But
yeah.
I don't know. There's just that whiplash there, which feels like reflective of life, because the reality is you're gonna have that time when you're downtrodden and you fuck up a whole bunch, and someone who probably shouldn't forgive you is probably gonna forgive you. That's kind of just life, and then you got to go
Mm-hmm.
on, and you can't like live with the guilt. You got to just be grateful, and I really appreciated that aspect of it. I think one thing that I like about all the Spike Lee movies I've seen is that they feel, even though they can be like absurdist, they also feel very reflective of life in that being absurd, which is like, it's super
Yeah.
cool. It's like, I feel like when people think of like reflective of life, they think of like autobiographical, super hyper realistic, but like that shit can be like kind of boring. I don't know. Life is just like feelings, and those movies have like feelings. I remember the last time I watched Do the Right Thing, I watched the movie and then I listened to Gil Scott Heron and just cried just
Yeah.
to get it out.
Yeah, no, and yeah, like Do the Right Thing is cool because I mean, like that's one of my favorite movies ever. Just putting that out there, fucking incredible. I've seen it so many times. Like I'm happy you brought up the realism thing because I mean, like it is a realistic movie, but it does kind of feel like unreal at the same time. Like once again, like the colors are super duper saturated. Like like it feels like one of those, like I don't want to trivialize it, but it almost feels like a storybook for adults to me. Like just like the way that it's shot and the way that the colors lay and the way the characters play, like it really does. Like it's a morality play at the end of the day, which is like I don't know that you could say the same about. I mean, I guess you could maybe say the same about More Better Blues, but like I think Spike is really interesting in that way because I don't love all his movies, like especially the stuff from like the early 2000s up until like he put out a decade of trash. I'm gonna warn you right now. He's really interesting that way, but like he's like you go back and watch like She's Gotta Have It, like the first movie he ever made, and there's a lot of really like morally and like sexistly, that's not a word, questionable shit going on in that movie. Like I'm not gonna talk about it here. You can watch it for yourself and see. You like a movie like there's a movie he has a movie called Girl Six that's about call girls, and I love the movie. It's not good. I love watching it. It's not a good movie. There's like he's got some blind spots, but sometimes it all comes together in ways where like you can tell that he's trying to draw attention to the contradictions, but other times it's just like, oh, you just don't get this and you sound like a fucking like bitter incel right now. You gotta chill, bro.
Yeah.
But like I think there was definitely moments. There were less moments like that in Mo Better Blues. I haven't seen it in such a long time. I'm just realizing I might want to rewatch it later or maybe tomorrow. But yeah, Spike's like I say all of this to say that because like you're relatively new to Spike as like a whole, like his whole filmography, like he's an interesting one in that way because like there's gonna be stuff that like is very clean and then stuff that isn't clean, but like everything about his movies is like urgent, because like my three favorite Spike Lee movies would probably have to be Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blues, and Bamboozled. I don't know how much you've heard about Bamboozled.
I heard a
But
little bit. Is that the one with the? No, that's not the one. That's Jungle Fever. No, okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember it.
So, long story short, how do I describe Bamboozled? So Bamboozled, I'm not gonna tell you the whole story, but it's about like
Mhm.
someone creates like a minstrel show, TV show,
Okay.
and that's all I'm gonna say. Go find it. The first time I watched it, I needed to take a break. Like I needed
Oh
to like
wow.
pause the movie and go sit somewhere for 20 minutes and like breathe. And then it ended and I had to go breathe for the rest of it's a rough fucking movie. But it's feels like it could have been made yesterday in a lot of ways. I feel like I've talked
Mhm.
about it quite a bit on here, but like, yeah, movies and like that's maybe the best Spike Lee movie. No, I take it back. Do the Right Thing is the best Spike Lee movie, but the one that I think about the most is Bamboozled. You know,
Copy.
it's really
Copy.
it's phenomenal. But like, just prepare yourself. You gotta mentally brace yourself to watch Bamboozled because it really is a lot.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. One thing that you brought up that I found interesting was kind of like in regards to like some of the questionable things maybe regarding like gender and all of that stuff because that's another aspect of Mo Better Blues and also kind of do the right thing that I really appreciate is like or they're like how they speak on like masculinity in particular. I think
Right.
about masculinity a lot because like my relationship with masculinity and all of that, so it's like everything is about masculinity, especially if a black man does it. It's like this is about masculinity, you know.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
with Mo
yeah.
Better Blues, that led me to think about like masculinity, not only of course in the context of like femininity, being in relationships, so on and so forth, it like being a man with a passion. What does that look like? How is that expressed? And how does that lead to like you being like misogynistic? What do you need to unlearn and things like that? And I just take it as
Uh-huh.
like personal reflections and all of that stuff. So I think like seeing a musician who's like not a horrible person, also not the best person in the world, who
Yeah.
like grows to be a better person, but he has to lose his passion, you know, or lose the ability to express.
Yeah.
That was just kind of like, fuck,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, no,
know?
that's why that movie lands the way it does, you know, because like yeah, like he's a bit of a dog, you know, like and like he doesn't really hide it either. But like I said, he gets humbled by life. And you put it perfect. Like he like it took him losing his ability to participate in the thing he loves so much to be like, wait a minute, like, and like for some people that's what it takes, unfortunately. But like, yeah, like Mo Better Blues is like, I think more than any Spike Lee movie very much like revolves around like the idea of masculinity and how those aspects are passed down from father to son, like, of course, like, like the movie, I already said it before, but like the movie starts with his dad, like instilling the like the rigid practice shit. And then, like he breaks kind of from that at the end, once again, we already talked about that. But like, yeah, it's a, that's a movie I've really I'm like, I liked it a lot when I first saw it, just because like, oh, jazz man type shit. But like
Mm,
it's that's one that really stands the test of time, just because it's like very thoughtful, um and good, just
yeah.
yeah, I don't know where my brain went. It's a great movie. I like it a lot.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Same. Yeah. Hmm.
So for you, let's go back to the beginning with you. What's the first movie experience you can remember having? It could be at the theater, it
Yeah.
could be at your cousin's house.
This is so crazy because I was just thinking about this. Okay. So it was me, my dad, and my brother. I remember. So my brother was probably there. He might not have been there. He might have been like two. But my grandmother was definitely there. And I remember this in particular because like m- a lot of my memories with my grandmother are like at her house because she didn't really go outside too much. I would like so whenever she did go outside and I was there, it's like a core memory. Like there was one time she went with us to get haircuts. So it's like, oh yeah, she's sitting in the barber chair, she's getting the haircut,
Mhm.
whatever. But we were watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh
Mm.
boy, yo, wow.
The reason I was thinking about it is because it's at the theater right by me, and it like just closed down.
Oh
Because of like
man.
COVID and all of that shit, you know, and I think they're
Yeah.
trying to like renovate it, build some fucking mall there or whatever, some bullshit. But yeah, it literally just closed down. I was walking past it. I was like, fuck. What is the first time I was here? Because most of my like in theater memories are at that theater up until like probably high school, you
Wow.
know?
Jesus. Yeah, nah, those neighborhood movie theaters are so you know, like not everybody has that, but like it's just so important when you do to like be there because yeah, like like growing up in Jersey, I had at least two of those that were like
Mm,
very like local theaters that were owned by like semi I mean like they're like chains I guess, but like it was very like local like
yeah.
yeah, like you like you get it. So but like Shark Boy and Lava Girl in particular is like
It's a
that's such a
crazy
wild
movie,
movie,
bruh.
son. Like
Bro, that movie is so cold. This nigga, oh, I'm trying to see if I remember it right. Like he was having dreams and he would draw about his dreams, and then that shit came to life. And then his teacher was the bad guy. And wasn't he also
yeah.
like George Lopez or something
He was
like
George
that?
Lopez. He was like the big clock man, and he had the arms,
Exactly.
and like his face was like super magnified. That shit scared the fuck out of me as a kid, bro. That was
And
so
then
terrifying.
like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, it was like they're siblings. And it didn't they have like a sequel series? And like the
Yeah.
way they were framing it, I vividly remember like doing a double take because like, are they like married or something like that? And I was like, wait, no, they're siblings, right? And I was just very confused. You know, but yeah, that movie is so fire. I don't know. That movie is like a core movie of my childhood for sure. Like I'd be in
Mhm.
daycare and they'd have like the reruns on like Disney or whatever.
Right,
And
right, right, right.
like I can sit and watch that. I might go watch that shit tonight.
That's
Just
funny as
cause,
hell.
bro. That movie is amazing. They had
Wow.
the
So I
videos, like they're playing with the bubbles and shit, bro. Crazy movie.
uh-huh. Yo, so I haven't I saw it. See, I saw that movie at a different local theater in a town that my mom lived near, like like super duper small, had to have like 5 or 6 screens at most, like the shit's like as big as my bedroom basically. But
Mm,
like I saw it that one time, and I remember three things about Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I remember the scene where all of them are on the giant cookie floating down the river of milk, and Shark Boy is like singing. He's like
I
threatening fucking the
remember.
kid and like singing like the dream
Yeah.
song or whatever. So I remember that. I remember him. I remember how terrible the effects looked of him trying to chew through the prison bars. Like, cause
Mm,
somebody shared that clip on Twitter recently. So I was like rewatching it. I'm like, it might be time to go see like this like obviously a lot of those special effects don't hold up, but like
mhm.
just they were just so charming, you know. And then like that was one of the first movies I remember going to like a because they showed that one in 3D, and
I was
and
just
like they
about
gave you
to say
the
that. They had the glass. That's why I remembered it. I was like, why do I know? It was the
yeah
glasses, bro. And it was like my first 3D movie. And I remember they made like a huge deal about it. It's like, oh, it's in 3D. Here's the Shark Boy glasses, the Lava Girl glasses. Crazy,
yeah
crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
I think that might have been the first movie I'd seen in 3D at like a regular movie theater. Like you know, like, you've been to like theme parks and like they got all that shit, but like that was when they were starting to bring 3D like into like the regular movie theaters. And like I can't remember whether I had the Shark Boy or the Lava Girl glasses, but either way, like that was wow, yeah, like that's like a core memory for me too. And then the third thing is like because like Robert Rodriguez is the guy who made it. He's the guy who made Spy Kids. He's the guy who made like
Mhm.
Machete, and he's made a bunch of. Robert Rodriguez is amazing, but like the thing, so like I always think about this because Rodriguez is like he makes some of like the bloodiest, most like disgusting movies you'll ever see in your life. And then the next thing he'll make is like an idea that his 6-year-old wrote on a piece of paper and was like, Dad, I want to make a movie about a shark boy and a lava girl. That movie was his kid's idea, and he just
Yo,
like fleshed the whole thing out because like all his kids movies were like or maybe not all his kids movies, but like a grip of them. I think everyone except for the Spy Kids movies, like all of those kids movies were like ideas his kids had. He made this other movie called Shorties, and that was like based off of like a dream his child had. You know, like Shark Boy and Lava Girl was based off a concept his kid made. Spy Kids might have even been a thing his kid, you know, like he's just so like he'll make a movie like Planet Terror, for example, with like the lady with like the machine gun leg and like all the zombies everywhere. And then he'll make a movie that's like some Barney shit with like walking thumb men and like McDonald's in the microwave, you know, like it, like Robert Rodriguez will just like he'll just make whatever the fuck he wants. And I really respect that about him. And then he made another joint recently, like within the last 3, 4, 5 years called Alita Battle Angel. You ever see Alita Battle Angel?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I heard of it.
So I watched it for the first time last year because I never got to see it in theaters. And I think the fans are trying to do some campaign right now where they're like really working to get a sequel made. I think it's going to happen. But like, she's like a cyborg. Uh, it's a long story. She's like she's like a war cyborg that gets reprogrammed to be good. The special effects are fucking amazing. Like it looks great. There's like a lot of like roller derby robot shit happening in it, and like Christoph Waltz, the guy from Inglorious Bastards, is like an engineer who like he's like this timid little engineer who goes out and like kills robots with a giant hammer. Movie like this is the same guy who made Shark Boy and Lava Girl. You know, like he could do whatever the fuck he wants, and I respect that he like Rodriguez has an idea, and then like the movie's like 40% done on his laptop by the end of the weekend. He's that kind of crazy. So yeah, but like Shark Boy and Lava Girl is like that shit's like like I remember watching that and thinking like, oh, this must be what it's like to be on drugs. Like I was so young, but I was like, this must be what it's like to be on drugs. Like
Yeah. No, it. I didn't even realize he was the same dude who did Spy Kids, but that makes so much sense. I have like so many core memories with Spy Kids, but none of them are in theater. Like Spy Kids 3 is my favorite one. They used to like play on Cartoon Network all the time. I was
I
always fucking
remember.
right? Spy Kids 1 through 3, I don't think I saw in theaters. I saw Spy Kids 4 in theaters, and they had the fucking like the sniffing thing where they put like a number up,
Yeah.
and it was the craziest thing. But not only that, there was an earthquake in the middle of us watching the thing. But like we all thought the earthquake was a part of the movie
In the
until we
theater.
went out and went back
Yo,
to
that's
the
crazy.
daycare or whatever. And they're like, yeah, there was just an earthquake all throughout New York City.
Yo. Wait a minute. What year was that?
What it was like right when it came out. I don't remember what year that was.
Because
I was
I remember there
2010.
was an earthquake on the East Coast, and it was like so like
Uh,
that was like we don't get earthquakes like that. Like I remember
yeah.
like I was in my basement, and like I felt like the whole world shake, and I thought I just like had a stroke, and then I went online and everybody was talking about the earthquake. So I think I
Yeah,
think I
that
remember
was
what.
2011.
Wow, no, that was I was in college at that point. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Love. I don't really like Spy Kids 4. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Spy
Yeah.
Kids 3 is peak. That movie's amazing. I'm gonna watch that again too, bro.
Damn. Yeah. My favorite's always going to be the first one, but like I remember seeing
Mhm.
like I saw Spy Kids 3 in the theater with the glasses and everything, and yeah, like I actually saw it with my I saw it with my friend Maggie. Shout out to Maggie if she's listening. Um, but yeah, like that was like those movies are very much like that's like peak 2000s like kids movie, you know, like all of those movies, like the I don't
Mhm.
know. They just once again they just feel like fever dreams, you know, like what it. I don't know. There's like an uninhibited like childness to those movies that I really love. Like they just went for every idea. Like even if it
Mhm.
doesn't work all the way, like the first three in particular, they just went for every idea. Like thumb people, you got it. Fucking like weird like alien looking people that are like under. I don't even know nuts
Man,
movies.
they were
Good
fighting in a
times.
video game. It was like SAO before SAO. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man.
You
That's
said
insane.
SAO before SAO. That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. That was like, yeah, like I used to play a lot of Mugen back in the day, and
Hmm.
like it made me think about that too, just like the whole like every character versus every character ever, like
Hmm.
those are. You said S. I'm just mad you said SAO before
No, bro.
SAO.
Like I'm really thinking about it. Like that's just Spy Kids 3 is just a fucking isekai. That's
That's
just
so
that's just
funny.
what it is, bro. He's in a whole other place. Isn't he like trying to save his sister or something like that?
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
crazy. That's really crazy. Yeah, but yeah, that whole I don't know, man. I'm so happy I was born in the 2000s, bro. I feel like I grew, like when niggas talk about the 90s, I definitely feel
Mhm.
that and I respect that. And there's mad 90s shit I really fuck with. Like, I don't know. I'm so happy I was born in '02 because it's like I got to experience the whimsy of like early 2000 shit. Like I was
Yeah.
talking with one of my homies about um Chowder, and he was like how like Chowder and Flapjack were his Adventure Time and regular show, and I was like, I was there for both. They're
Yeah,
all like I'm
bro.
here for everything.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
same here. That was yeah, like once again, that was all college for me. I was born in 92, so like I was like 10, 11, 12, and I turned 10 in 2002, so like getting to like I love being able to like grow up in the 2000s and like having that be my like core like preteen teenage shit, cuz yeah, like when I got to college, that was like, like Adventure Time, like that was like peak Adventure Time regular show time. And then I think like right after was when Chowder and Flap, or no, I think I might have still been in college when Chowder and Flapjack were going up. But like I've been like rewatching Chowder a lot recently, and like Chowder's great.
Mhm.
Like it's just like a
Chowder's
great thing to just
amazing.
have on in the background. Like I love that
Chowder's
shit.
peak. Yeah, Chowder is super peak, bro.
Yeah, I've always loved cartoons. I'll probably never stop liking cartoons ever, and I hope I don't. You know?
Mm. I don't know. They be trying to shame people for watching cartoons, but it's like, nah, cartoons are crazy, bro. I've gotten
Yeah.
more enjoyment and more like reflection on life watching two cartoons, like listen to niggas talk about cartoons versus like, I don't know, the new Marvel movie or something like
Right.
that,
There it
or like,
is.
oh, this new like Saltburn or something like that.
Right.
You know, it's like not like niggas been talking about Avatar hella. So I've been in like my bag just thinking about Avatar, reflecting on Avatar, and it's like, yo,
Yeah.
that was the craziest show ever. It still is. Like that, the
Yeah.
politics in Avatar are fucking nuts. Like it's like niggas is like they were like gearing up on some revolutionary shit, bro. They were really reflecting on the plight of the people in response to like being marginalized by the
Yeah.
Fire Nation, bro. It was like I was listening to this one dude talk about the Southern Water Tribe and was like how they had better politics, but then the Fire Nation came and fucked their shit up. And then niggas started resorting to the patriarchy just to survive. And that's why Sokka's a misogynist,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, bro, that's fucking crazy.
There's a
you
lot of
know?
layers to the. No, I'm happy you brought that up. I was just talking to some homies about that yesterday, actually. Just like cause they just started watching Korra, and they had a
Mhm.
lot of feelings about like the militarized police state of the world of Korra, and just and just like how the Earth Tribe and like the Metal Benders became the police, and like I haven't watched Korra since it ended in 2014, but I want to go back and rewatch it. But like yeah, like I have no interest in watching the new Avatar. I'm not touching
Oh
it.
yeah, I'm not
Like
watching that shit.
it's like
That's
the
not
last
for me.
Airbender. The last Airbender is so sacred to me. Like I got the DVDs in the corner over there. I love the last Airbender. But yeah, no, like it's like to the point about like cartoons and animation, like fucking, like to me, a lot of times like cartoons and animation kind of get at real life better than real life does sometimes, because it's just
Mhm.
like about highlighting the exaggerated elements of real life in a way that you can't in real life. Like I always think about it in the sense of like if you talk about somebody and you like mention how like their face looks or like their hair looks or like a detail about them that you think is crazy but might not look crazy to somebody else, you can draw that and animate it and like emphasize like, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I
Mhm.
mean. So then if you ever got the chance to see that person, it's like, oh, I get what you mean now. You
Yeah.
know, like that's why I grew up loving stuff like SpongeBob and Rocko's Modern Life and Ren and Stimpy, because
Mhm.
like the animation could be so like grotesque and exaggerated to the point where it felt like real. You
Mhm.
know, it felt like real and unreal at the same time. Like it, like that type of shit. And you know, just you know, like it's just, you know, I feel like concepts and philosophical topics are easier for people to digest when you watch them through a cartoon, because you don't
Yeah.
even realize that you're going there for that type of shit 80% of the time. You know, because I feel
Mhm.
like people don't take it seriously like they should. You
Yeah.
know, like I just saw Paprika is one of my favorite movies ever.
I
We were just
fucking love
talking
that
about this.
movie.
We were
I
just
love
talking
that
about this,
movie.
right? So at the AMC they did they had this big like Satoshi Kon festival thing, and they showed Paprika remastered in 4K. So I was like, I gotta go see
Mhm.
that. And just like rewatch, you know, like this is like rewatching it, I was like, I really wonder how many people like understand what they're trying to talk about here, because the movie's like Inception but better. You know,
Yeah.
like it's but I feel like even just calling it Inception but better does such a disservice to everything going on in that movie, because it's just so deep, and it's so beautiful, and it's so weird and scary and thrilling. Like it's like like that's like a full package movie to me. Like it's funny,
Mhm.
it's weird, it's sad, it's action packed. It's like it got a crazy story going on. The soundtrack
Mhm.
goes crazy. Like 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 niggas thought they were band leaders and then like jumped out of windows. Like that's such a wild movie. Like I don't know. It
Yeah.
was, I had never seen it on the screen, so like I was just
Mhm.
kind of like marveling at this movie. But it was, yeah, animation's great, man. I
Have
like
you
in
have you
yeah,
seen uh is it Perfect Blue?
yeah, Perfect Blue,
Okay, yeah. I
amazing.
think Perfect Blue might be because I remember I think I saw Paprika first, and then niggas like, oh, Perfect Blue, Perfect Blue. So I'm like, all right, let me tap in. Perfect Blue was another movie that had me really sitting with my. I did a this was my first semester of college. I did a fucking my finals paper for my psychology class on Perfect Blue because that
Yeah,
movie fucked me up.
wow.
There's this one scene with like a fax machine that I was like, I'm gonna sample that shit, bro. That movie is like so special to me. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, not Perfect Blue, also by Satoshi Kon. Like so,
Yeah.
and then so also by Satoshi Kon. You ever see Black Swan, the Natalie Portman
Nah, I
movie?
haven't.
It's
Wait,
great.
I think yeah, I haven't seen it.
If you get a chance, watch it. It's great. But Darren Aronofsky bought he bought the rights to Perfect Blue so that he could rework the story to be Black Swan, because like Black Swan is basically just Perfect Blue. Yo, my fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the all new Real Notes Patreon page real quick. If you're looking for ways to connect and directly support the podcast, the Real Notes Patreon is the best way to do so. For as little as $5 a month, you can gain early day before access to every forthcoming episode of Real Notes, as well as an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, where you can talk to others about the latest and greatest in movies and music, come through for some listening sessions, and talk about whatever else is on your mind. I know I'm gonna be talking a bunch. If you feel like coming up off a little bit more, you could get cool exclusive content like audio from Real Notes Live and Real Talk interviews. Those will be exclusive to patrons and ticket holders moving forward. Access to retro versions of my 60-second Minute Maid movie reviews, and even a monthly writing and podcasting workshop hosted by me. Regular episodes will still be available on a weekly basis anywhere you get your podcasts, but if you want the extras, you gotta come out them pockets a bit. Check us out at patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES. I appreciate your consideration and support more than you know. Now let's get back to talking. You know,
Okay.
in the same way that like Paprika served as like crazy influence for Inception.
Mm.
Like yeah, like Satoshi Kon was just, he was so ahead of his time. You know, like
Mhm.
it makes me sad that Paprika is the last thing he ever made. But stuff like that, and like Tokyo, you ever see Tokyo Godfathers before?
I need to watch it. I keep putting it off. I need to watch it.
I rewatched it for the first time in a long time this year, and that might be one of the best Christmas movies ever made. That's all I'm gonna say about Tokyo Godfathers. Great movie.
Mhm. Nah, yeah, man. Yeah, there's so many movies that it's like, oh, I'm gonna watch it. Oh, I'm gonna watch it. I just be putting them
Yeah.
off. That's why I wanted to do the all right, 2 movies a week type thing, and like on some self-care shit. But
Mm-hmm.
I need to like really sit and like reflect on my childhood, go through like forums and shit, and just start collecting movies.
Yeah, it's worth it. Like I be cataloging shit on Letterbox. It helps me to like organize what I want to watch and how I want to watch it. But
Mm.
speaking of that, as you get older and you start to have more life experiences, like do you remember one of the first? It doesn't have to be the first, but like one of the first movies you saw that like really like connected with you in like an emotional or artistic or spiritual, just like something. Yeah, it's like something that like really connected with you on like some this is a movie type shit.
Um, hmm. I feel actually no. Okay. So during COVID, uh me and my friend, shout out to Autumn. We decided to watch she's Bengali. So we decided to watch a whole bunch of Bollywood movies. I
Mm-hmm.
don't this may have been like the summer of 2021 or something like that. And then that led first of all, probably fucking craziest experiences ever. I don't even remember the names of the movies, but I remember the plots extremely vividly. It was like from beginning to end. It's like, how the fuck did we get here? But anyways, somehow that led, I guess my fucking Twitter algorithm picked up on that, and it got me to like someone was talking about this Indian director whose name I wish I could remember. I don't remember. But the movie was called Monologue. I think I sent it to you where it was because I just rewatched it kind of recently. But
Yeah. Okay. I
yeah,
remember you bringing that up. Yeah.
yeah, but that movie, it was like it fucked me up because I didn't get it. And around the time that I was watching that movie, I was like really fucking with like Woods and Elucid and all of them. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
like I them with them, it's like I don't get exactly every single thing because I'm not you, but I get the feeling. But this one was like there's a feeling there. I feel very sad watching this shit, but I don't know why, And I would watch it again and again and again. And I think it inspired a lot of my writing at that time. And then it wasn't until I rewatched it, like at the end of last year, it was like, oh, this shit is about art. That's why I was fucking with it this whole time. This is like just on some writer shit. This is a writer musing about being a writer. And I was like, I get it now. This is so crazy. I really, 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 really fuck with that movie. And it's like, I don't know, compared to like a lot of the like, I guess more Western movies I've seen, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, I guess Eastern movies are like, they feel like even if they take up the same amount of time, they feel slower. They feel like more intentional in the sense of like, all right, we're gonna sit on this scene of like niggas cooking for like 5 minutes. And then when we come back to this at the end of the movie, you're gonna be so fucked up, you
Yeah.
know?
No. Like yeah. It's like the context is gonna be insane.
Yeah, it's gonna yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
it was like in the movie, the main character, he grew up with like the doctor who birthed them because like I don't really remember what happened to his moms. I think she either passed away or kind of just left or whatever the case might be, and his dad wasn't around, so he grew up with the doctor. And then he has like an older brother who's like the doctor's actual son. It's like significantly older, maybe like a 15-year difference. So it's like older brother, mentor, cool dude, whatever. And then it's like in one telling, the story is told multiple times. So in the first telling, he's like a super energetic, super smart, talented kid. He can sing. He gets like threatened at the fair because he's doing so good at the games. They're like, bro, you're taking away all our money. You can't be doing
Mm-mm.
this. He has a crush, but he's getting bullied because the crush likes him back. Sorry. In the
Okay.
second telling, he's just like a lonely kid and he's in college and his brother has like a wife and he keeps just staring at her and it's clear that like oh they have something going on, and then you go back to this college and it's because oh he the wife and him know each other, he met her. She's like the girl at the bus stop. They're going on dates. They're in love.
Mm-hmm.
And then come to find out it was like a fucking hallucination the whole time. And then it's just like some things just aren't like he hallucinated her to the point that he hallucinated her father telling him, "You're not good enough. You have to come to my house and beg me to go be with my daughter because you're not good enough," type thing. It's like a metaphor for like him feeling like he's a disappointment to his father because he's like fucking depressed or whatever. And then the movie ends with him like beefing with his brother. He's like, she's cheating on you with me. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? She doesn't know you.
Uh-uh.
It's crazy shit, bro. Movies, no reason to like be that crazy. It is fucking
Wow.
nuts. And it's like all this happens, but it's a quiet ass movie. It's like, no, it's like super chill. If you like half watch, you won't even catch half the shit. It's like, oh, okay.
So what's this movie called?
Oh,
You
it's called
remember?
Monologue.
It's called Monologue. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
This
it
okay.
came
Okay,
out
this okay.
in,
This is the one you told me about. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go. So like I mean like now that you're like really digging into it, I'm gonna go fucking throw this in my shit so I remember to watch it later. Is it a monologue from 1973? There's a
I think it's 1987. Let
1987.
me make sure. Yeah,
Yeah, no.
Monologue
Is this it?
movie.
You can see that?
Nah, nah, that's not it. Wait, yes. Wait, go do it again.
This.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Tight. It's on my watch list. That sounds great. You know, and to kind of like, you know, put a fine point on what you said about just like about just like stuff not out of the West being a little more intentional and just like thoughtful is the wrong word, but intent but like I think you picked the perfect word, intentional. You know, like I don't know if you ever seen this I mean, I haven't seen a ton of Bollywood films. I love Bollywood films. I really want to watch more of them. So I just wish I had more of a frame of reference. But I'm gonna jump over to this joint called Your Name from 20 sometime in the late 2010s. It's I'm gonna say
uh,
anime about
yeah.
these.
I've seen it.
Okay, yeah. So like just the way they tell that story and just like the whole idea of it kind of sort of being like a time travel story but not I mean like, I guess it is a time travel story but just the whole idea of like these kids like you know for lack of a better way to describe it, like exploring each other's bodies because they're literally like them, the other person, and like you know,
Yeah,
just like getting used to being in somebody else's body and then going back to their own bodies and like leaving themselves messages on some memento shit. And then like they get to know each other and they get to know their friends and they think they know, and then like they've never met. And then they get to the point at the movie where they're at the meteor, the site of the meteor crash that destroyed the town, and they're about to meet and they're about to tell each other their names and then she disappears and my heart breaks because just like every little moment was leading up to that, you know, like just like once again like it's so deliberate because they wanted you to like, not to say that American filmmakers don't do this, plenty do, but like it felt so like, how do I put this, like you know, like they wanted, like you were saying before, they wanted to show like the minutia of people's lives in order to like really let it sink in that like these are people and every step that they've taken has led them to here. And then at the end when they finally meet in person and she's like, what's your name, like the first time I saw that shit I started bawling. I don't like like I cry at movies pretty often, but like that one really fucked me up something bad. What a great movie, man. Like and it
yeah.
just like stuff like that really touches me. And then my partner was watching this I think it's a Korean soap opera called Marry My Husband that's kind of sort of similar.
I've
Um
seen that. Why have I know I've seen that. I've seen that.
I
Yes, I've
I've
seen that.
I've seen a handful of episodes. I haven't seen the whole thing, but the whole
No,
idea.
I haven't seen I read it. I read the webtoon. Me and my ex, we would read the fucking webtoon, bro. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, marry my husband is wild.
Yeah.
Just like the whole, for anybody who doesn't know, the whole idea is like it's also kind of like a time travel ish thing.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not gonna try to explain it, but it's also like a it's like a time travel induced romance that like
Romance,
involves like
revenge
a car
plot type
accident.
thing.
Yeah, and a revenge play. It's pretty wild. Like stuff like that is once again just like like it's like really intricate, and you got to have like all the details down, and it like really lets you absorb these people's lives in a way that makes the story land. You know, like it's just like it's just like basic fucking like filmmaking 101 type shit, and it's great.
Mhm.
I like it. Um, but for you, let's jump over to the music. When did
Okay.
music become capital M music for you? Like when did it go from being like a passive thing to like a it's music. Like I love this. Not even so much like I want to make it, but like when did you first
Mhm.
start to love music?
Um, so I've been like passively listening to music my whole life. Like my dad, he's not an old head, but he grew up in the 90s. Very, this is my hip hop type thing. And
Yeah.
my mom was like super into hip hop, but more of the like the poppier stuff. And then me and my brother, we're kind of into like the radio hits. Niggas put on like Soldier Boy or whatever at the daycare.
Okay.
Um, so
At the
like the
daycare.
middle ground was like Jay-Z and Ye. So growing up on like college dropout, late registration, whatever, whatever. I don't really want to talk about him too much. But
Yeah.
fast forward to like fucking high school, my dad got Spotify for the whole family right when Damn came out from Kendrick. So it was like, all right, cool. I'm listening to Damn. Damn's great, cool. What else is there on here? And it's like just like going to the related artists and just clicking on niggas. Like, oh, who's Joey Badass? Oh, who's Frank Ocean? Oh, this is Thinking About You. Okay, cool. This is that. And then going from that and like figuring out the songs of my childhood. And then like at that time, one of my close friends in high school, she was putting me on to like Tyler and like Earl and all of them. So I'm like falling in love with like the Earl. I went through like the Odd Future whole arc, like that was like multiple years. I did that in like 6 months. Where it was like, hell yeah, Bastard, Earl, Goblin, blah blah blah. Okay, this is kind of cringy. I don't like shit. I don't go outside. Still a fucking amazing fucking album, Cherry Bomb and
Yeah.
all of that. And then Tyler dropped Flower Boy, and that shit
Hmm.
blew my fucking mind. Oh my god, that was like for a long time. That was my favorite album of all time. That's the first album I had the CD for. I knew every single lyric. That album is the reason I started writing because it was like, yo, I'm
Wow.
I'm gonna be a fucking rapper. And I tried rapping. I was like, this sucks. I'm gonna write poems so I can get good. But then it was just like, I don't even care about rapping like that. I'm just gonna write poems for a while. So definitely Flower Boy. Shout out to like Childish Gambino too. He's in this circle because of the
Hmm.
internet. Like I heard it before, but like reading it with the fucking the script or whatever, it's oh, you can do this. Oh, that he's another artist I feel embarrassed about like enjoying as much as I did, but I can't even cap, that old
Yeah.
Gambino shit is a hit for me.
No, I get it. You know, like there were like I was definitely out here bumping cul-de-sac when it came out. I get it. You know,
Right?
ain't no shame in it. But because the internet's incredible, like I love the music, I love the script, I love the whole like yeah, just like the whole multimedia experience of that, like stuff like that inspired this podcast. You know, so
Mhm.
like that album holds a very special spot in my heart because of that. And I love to hear that about Flower Boy because like like watching Tyler's ascent happen in real time, like going like being around when Goblin first dropped, and then like watching him go from or excuse me when Yonkers first dropped. So like going from Goblin to Wolf to
Well,
Cherry
yeah.
Bomb and like watching it happen in real time is nuts. And then like Flower Boy happens, and it's like it's like this 180-degree shift where like you can see all like the pastel shit that he was working on, but like like to this day, there's still nothing out there that sounds like Tyler's music from Flower Boy on. Like he's got a really
Yeah.
unique sound, which I think people don't really give him credit for. And it's really dope that like Flower Boy was the because like that's got some of his best writing on it. It's got some of his best beats and some of his best writing on it. So like that's yeah, nah, like I have a not complicated, but like once again, I watched Tyler grow, and like become, like being at the I went to his show at MSG
Right.
when he put out Call Me If You Get Lost, and just like watching, like there's like a bit in the show where he does like the medley of all the old songs, and I'm just like, I
Mm,
grew up on these, like I watched Wolf happen in front of my eyes. Like Wolf is still to
mhm,
this day a very special album to me because of that. And
mhm,
like, wow, so like
mhm,
like I'm coming at it from a slightly different perspective, but like hearing that Flower Boy was the thing that made you want to start writing and like writing poetry is really cool, because that album is still one of Tyler's most thoughtful and most like, I don't know, like it's still really unique and interesting to this day. I personally like it more than I like Igor, even though I know Igor is like a bit more ambitious, and obviously there's like a lot of he set a lot of precedents and broke a lot of ground with Igor, and I appreciate that album, but I go back to Flower Boy way more, so I get
yeah,
it,
same.
you know.
Yeah, when I used to care about like objectivity and everything, I'd be like Igor's his best album, but like Flower Boy is my favorite by far. But now
Mhm.
it's just like, nah, Flower Boy is just that shit, bro. Igor is super dope.
Yeah,
Like those two are like, what the fuck for two completely different reasons for me. But
yeah,
Igor, it was definitely like the beats are like, yo, this is fucking crazy. But Flower Boy is like, I don't know, that first track forward, he's spitting on that joint, bro. This is
yeah,
regular rap shit. Like that beat is fucking absurd, bro. When Who That Boy first dropped, niggas was super into ASAP Rocky too. Especially,
yeah.
I get the titles confused, but like the album that came out around 2015, the one
At long last,
after,
ASAP, I'm pretty sure,
yeah,
right?
that one, that's my fucking shit. I really like Testing too, but that album is like, oh, this is perfect, So seeing them do Who That Boy, it's like, yo, this is so dope, you know. Garden Shed, 911, November, bro. Niggas
Yeah,
used to
no,
call niggas they love November just off that shit, bro. Real corny shit.
yeah. Nah, man. I wrote a whole piece back in the day about the song November and like the idea surrounding a November. Like that's a, once again, special song to me. I get it. Like, yeah, that like see that's an album I haven't listened to in like at least a year or two. I'd actually like to go back and revisit it. So see, I'm gonna definitely do that now. But like, yeah, I get it. Like that was a special time, I think, because like it really did represent this like renaissance for him, where it's like he kind of got at all these ideas he had been trying to play at, but just decided to strip away all the cringe shit, and like, there you go.
Yeah.
You finally made it, like you're finally hitting at these ideas. And yeah, and then just like all the pastels and I don't know, like those were, like the OF journey's been real. Let's put it that way. But
Mhm.
so like so like considering all of that, and like now I'm thinking about all the videos that came out, like was there was there a time, or no, not was there a time, do you remember a time when you consciously linked film and music together in your head as two things that could complement one another?
Um, yeah, I'm trying to
Like
think.
consciously, yeah.
It's definitely because of music videos. Probably like music videos are with like those key albums. Because the music videos for Flower Boy were really like I'm thinking of the Who That Boy music video right now. That was a really cool music video for me.
Mm-hmm.
When Earl for some rap songs, I think he did like either like it was like a whole mini film, but I remember it was a part for Azukar. And then it was like, oh, look at these shots. These are like the movie shots. Or even like watching like I don't like this song, but like I remember in high school I was like cramming a paper and I was just watching music videos. And then I saw the music video for Wet Dreams by J. Cole.
J.
Yeah,
Cole.
like the niggas were dogs. It was like I hate this song, but this music video, it's like it's weird, but it's kind of funny. Like it's like
Yeah,
this what goes into the decision, like what in J. Cole's mind was like, let's just have some dogs, fucking around. Like, it is like, damn, you could really be like creative with this music video shit. I think there's that level to it, but then I think there's also it's kind of like an Ouroboros type thing. Cause I'm thinking about like when I first saw some of Mike's music videos, and that nigga is just in like the older stuff, he's kind of just chilling. And then he'll
yeah,
occasionally rap to the camera, but it's just like niggas living lives. And then it's like, yo, this is so cool. And I noticed myself looking for movies where it was just like niggas living life. Like I feel like as I got into like more casual stuff, it was like my music was reflective of that. So I think there's that connection there. And I think that's kind of why I appreciate the aesthetic I appreciate in both movies and music.
that makes sense. Yeah, nah, like yeah, because like when you brought up Mike videos, the two I always think of are the video for Fortune Teller and the video for Storm in the Calm, where it's just like him on the roof, and it's like the whole video's being edited in Photoshop the whole time it's playing, like.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff like once again that kind of like real and unrealness that I was talking about before, like but in a way that doesn't feel overly cartoonish or crazy, but like like it's like notice like if you work in creative spaces, what all of that stuff is. So like
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, no, that's a great answer. I like that a lot. And before I forget, um
Mm-hmm.
one of my best friends from college, shout out to James, he did the makeup for the Who Dat Boy video.
Oh, oh
Um
shit. Shout out
yeah, yeah,
James.
yeah. No, I remember when James first hit me and was like, "I worked on a Tyler video." I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" Like, cause like he works in like special effects and shit. Just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact. Proud of my friends. But yeah, nah, like that's so like taking all of this into consideration, when did you first start making music, and when did you know that it was gonna become more than just a hobby for you? Like when did you know that you were like a lifer in this shit? I mean, like I know it's like pretty early, but like like you're
Nah, I'm a
clearly,
lifer. I'm a lifer.
yeah, like
But okay, so in high school, I met my best friend Cesar, and I was writing poems at this time. I was still into all of this stuff, into doom, mad niggas, all the niggas, bro. I was tapped into everything. And then so we had Spanish together in my sophomore year. He was a year younger than me. And then for my junior year, they had a talent show, and he came to me and he was like, "Yo, I think I want to do the talent show. I think I want to rap. I know you're into rap. Can I like bounce shit off of you?" And I'm like, "I bet, bro. We've talked about Doom before. I'm fucking geeked. And he showed me his shit. At that time, he was like super into JID, understandably so, because he was like, this was Never's story. I think DiCaprio 2 was either coming out or came out already. And he was off the shits, bro. Everyone's tapped
hmm
that, right? So he
working
showed
out
me
was
I was like,
working out was so nuts. Sorry, I just had to say
bro,
that.
don't get me started. Don't get me started working out, man. Um, but yeah, yeah. And he showed me his shit. I was like, bro, your flow is fucking nuts, but you're not saying shit. And this is back when I wasn't saying shit. So, he really wasn't saying shit. So that writing program called Urban Word. They do a lot of good work in the city. Shout out to Urban Word NYC. And he started pulling up with me to their little workshops that they would do. And he improved as a writer, I improved as a writer, but it was like I'm the poet and he's the rapper, right? So, he's like, man, I want to do a mixtape. I want to do a mixtape, as high schoolers tend to want to do. And I was just like, well, I don't want you buying hype beats, bro. I'm gonna learn to make beats. So then it was just me learning to make beats. And like, so now we're in like 2021. I brought a SP404 because I thought like niggas was really making beats on there. And so I'm like learning that, doing that or whatever. And yeah, it was kind of just doing that for mad long, improving. I got Ableton, improving at making beats. And then it's like he would like write to like one beat of mine. But that's just because he was in a different place artistically. He's also an amazing fucking painter. So he was like a lot more focused on that. So I'm making beats, making beats, making beats. I'm improving, I'm getting better. And I'm like, what do I do with these beats? I'm gonna sell beats, but I'm a very anxious person. So I'd like inch myself out there instead of actively putting myself out there. And just like following people and like not going in anyone's DMs, be like, hey, I make beats, but just like following someone, and it's so embarrassing. Posting on my story after they follow me back is like, oh, you're gonna check it, you're gonna see it, you know. But at a certain point, it was like, bro, fuck it. These beats are too fire. I'm just gonna rap on it so I can prove that niggas can rap on it, so I can get more comfortable hitting niggas and selling beats. And then that's how
Right.
I made Sound of Summer Burning the Body. That was like September 2022. I believe that's when I dropped it. I did it
Right.
in like
Yeah.
3 weeks. It was like, here we go. And now I
Man.
kind of going.
See, I'm happy you brought that up already because I was gonna no, because I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna bring that project up specifically because I saw that like that's like your first project. I was listening to it earlier today. It's my first time hearing it. Like it's really cool to see like what that ground like what the ground floor, what your creative ground floor is, because like your stuff's always been super duper reflective and thoughtful and like I would even say impressionistic. But before we get into that specifically, like I'm interested in the delineation you made between rapping and poetry. Cause to me, I mean they haven't always been one and the same, but I've like like I guess to you, like was there a delineation between rapping and poetry to you? And do you feel like that delineation impacted your writing at all?
There definitely was. I used the term like we're talking about me and Cesar, like he was the rapper and I was the poet. I
Right,
use it in that
exactly.
context to just be like reflective of like what our intentions were. Back then, I was not trying to say a single word of my shit. It was just read it on the page and feel it off the page and everything.
Got
I
it.
think that's the
Okay, okay,
only way I would make that difference, honestly, because a lot of my
okay.
music, especially Sound of Summer, was literally me taking my poems and just reworking them into raps. And then it's like, even then, like, I think one thing that's kind of like, I guess foundational, quote unquote, saying feels weird saying like foundational of my style is that like I don't really give a fuck about rhyming if it's like I'm just getting my shit off. And then like if it rhymes a whole bunch, it's like cool, I did something really cool. And if it doesn't rhyme a whole bunch, it's still like cool. Do I still sound like it's just like the sound of the words hitting the beat? Does it sound right to me? That's all that
Right,
fucking matters to me. And I think that's something that I established on Sound of Summer. I think that's like, besides like the shitty mixing in my beats or whatever, me just kind of figuring it out. I think that's what makes it cool. It's just like, oh yeah, this is already his style type thing. And then like
right,
even with Cesar, because he's had like little features here and there on like my stuff, other people's stuff. He's on Sunscreen. It's like he's kind of become the quote unquote poet. He'll send me poems. It's like these are not raps. You're supposed to read that shit.
full
And it's like now
circle.
I'm the rapper. Right? Exactly.
I love that.
But yeah.
Yeah, nah, it's sorry, I'm still stuck on that full circle moment. But like on top of that, you also like you wrote, produced, mixed, and mastered Summer all by yourself. Like you're doing that, like that's like your first project ever. And I'm sure there was a lot of trial and error to get it to even like that point, and like because like the thing about your music that's still, like evident, like a couple years later, like you're all about like you're like malting all the time, like and like by molting I mean like you're just like there's always new layers of reflection, of thoughtfulness, flows, patterns, rhymes when they're there, like it's just like you're always like every song is like a new layer of skin. And yeah, like every song is like a new layer of skin, and every album or every project is like just like a collection of those. That's what I feel like when I listen to your music. And then like like considering the transition from Sound of Summer Burning the Body to Obtuse Ways to Say That I Love You, like every like all three of these projects, and then including Sunscreen, all three of these projects feel like a logical extension of the one that came before, in the sense that like naturally, like A leads to B leads to C. Like not even so much that you're like telling a story or there's like a concept, but just like, of course, the person who made, you know, obtuse ways would make sunscreen. You know, like it's evident. Like I think there's a difference between stuff being obvious and being evident, and it's evident to me that that would happen. Like, so I guess just like how did what you did on Sound of Summer transition over to the making of Obtuse Ways to Say That I Love You, and what was new about the process of making Obtuse that kind of surprised you, if that makes sense. I hope I asked that
No,
question right.
that does. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think the biggest thing is like I made friends. I think like if I don't like collage. I don't like that project. But like including that project in the mix, that project is fully produced by my homie Kilimanjaro. I knew him prior to making Sound of Summer. We weren't close, but he saw me rapping. He's like, "Oh, this is cool." And I was like, "Oh, you're cool. I love your beats." And then we wound up making collage together. So I think that was a big deal. In the process of making collage, I met got to know Money for Water. God's here rapper. Fucking amazing rapper, amazing person. Love Money for Water. And
Shout out.
Miles Cook. Yeah, Miles Cook, the
Shout out to
fucking bruh.
Miles. Yeah, no, Miles is
Yes, shout
amazing.
out to Miles indeed, bro. Miles is the reason I started working with C Money Burns. Shout out C Money Burns and like the mix and the master for all of my projects, minus sunscreen. But like, for most of my work, I tend to go to C Money Burns. So yeah, so that happened. Just making those friends, those relationships led into me starting Obtuse Ways. And Obtuse Ways was kind of like, I don't know, in my personal life, I was like going through a breakup, but it was less like a sad breakup and more like an annoyed breakup. So it's like me figuring out those feelings. That brings up songs like Morning Breath in particular, which is like, I'd call Morning Breath is like if Obtuse Ways had a title track, Morning Breath is that title track, you know? But yeah, and then on the notion of like making more friends, I met Michael Big Flowers. I met them beforehand, but it was like they wound up hearing uh as I become collage through another one of my mutuals. Shout outs Mike, shout outs Bagel. But and they were just like, yo, this is crazy. Let's do music together. And then that's how you get like Dummy, and eventually you get Drew Street. And then they're the
Yeah.
reason that like the Messiah music connect through them. So that's how you get End. Honestly, they're the reason sunscreen even exists, But and then like shout out Sasco, who produced the first track of Obtuse Ways, Mementos, and Sasco's type like my DJ now. So yeah. And then through like Sasco, you get other people who show up, like who not necessarily showed up in my music, like my own music, but I've like worked with them, like Sun Mundi, for example, who I was always a big fan of. But yeah, it was kind of just like me, I don't know, being like an okay person and people like liking the music and then talking and be like, oh, you're good peoples, and then just keep going from there. It's friendship. Obtuse Ways is very much a friendship album. A lot of the
What?
features on there, like shout outs Queen of Drafts. I knew them before I even started rapping. Like I knew them through Urban Word. So that was like
Mhm.
another full circle moment for me personally.
And yeah, like their poem at the end of that song is nuts. Like on some like like it almost felt like a Keisha Plum poem from like a West Side Gun song or some shit. Like like in that context, like
Mhm.
but yeah, nah, like the thing. I mean, like of course, like I hit you about. I mean, like we connected like right before Obtuse Ways happened, but like I hit you about the album when it came out, and like you sent it to me, and just like I don't know, man. Like I said, like your work is so like it's impressionistic, and once again, you kind of occupy this very real and unreal space in your writing, where it's like you're talking about your feelings, you're talking about shit you're going through, you're talking about like making it through, but the way you put the words together, it feels like it really does feel like watercolor brushstrokes, like not to do like the pretentious art thing, but like like your work, like it's so clear, but it's like clear and fuzzy. I don't know, like you got me.
Nah,
it's
you
it's
good.
it's
Yeah.
it's so difficult to like describe it, but just in the sense that like everything you're saying is so real, but like you're describing it in a way that it feels kind of distant, and that you can like kind of sort of see it, and it's like a feeling. You just you know what it is, even though you can't fully make it out. You know, like it's
Mm,
veiled, but also very raw and all in front of you, and you got to put the pieces together. But like not on some like nothing's like flying over niggas' heads or anything like that. But like but like your writing just gets you to the point in a different way, you
mm,
know? And I think like that really pops out for me on stuff like Dummy. It pops out for me on Drew Street and Speakeasy and Vestige, like all these songs, you know, like it's all there's like all just like these little bits and pieces of you in there, and they just come out so I never want to use the word abstract. You know, like I feel like tell me how you feel about this. I feel like abstract when it comes to the type of rap that you and a lot of people make. I feel like that's kind of becoming like lo-fi in the sense where it's like everyone uses it and it's like starting to not really be what that is anymore. Like I try
mm,
to avoid those two words as much as I can.
mm,
Sometimes it's unavoidable, but yeah, but that's what I love about your music, you know.
mm.
Like,
I mean, when it comes to like abstract, I don't know. I like describing, if I have to describe my music, it's just like it's intangible in the sense of like you're not me. Only I know everything about
mm,
it. Like, and it's like I think there are things that it's cleared and I'm talking about things. And I think I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about the way that people describe my music and everything, and it feels urgent for me to think about it as like a black artist in
yeah,
particular, because I don't know, I find like oftentimes, especially in like as the underground quote unquote gets bigger and I guess more commodified, there's like a desire to put niggas into like boxes. Like you are Mike Lane, you are Woods Lane, you are Rock Marcy Griselda Lane, so on and so forth, you know. And I think I feel I guess I worry about being put into one of those lanes where it's like, no, I'm just me. I love all these niggas. You know, I think you hear the
yeah,
influence of
right,
all these niggas on that shit because I just fuck with the music, bro. But it's like, please don't. I don't like being put into boxes on any level. I think a lot of my music is about me saying, please don't put me in a box. I'm my own nigga who lives my own life, and I have friends, and we do our things, and our things sometimes are similar, but sometimes they're very different. You know,
right.
like I don't know. I make shemar music. Just be like, oh yeah, shemar made it. How does it? Don't like describe it. Be like, how does it make you feel? I appreciate what you just said because it's like that's how the shit makes you feel. You know, it's not like a label thing. It's just like, yeah, I listen to this music, I feel this, and this. That's what I think more people should strive to do, you know, when talking about, and also, I guess, also be willing to receive from other people as well. But he's like, okay, what does this
Definitely.
sound like? It makes me feel this, and this. I don't know. For me, I like moving off a feeling. Like I think I'd be more inclined to listen to someone when it's like, oh yeah, I listened to this shit and this shit made me feel like butterflies were coming out of the speakers versus like, yeah, this shit sounds like Kia, you know. I feel like
Yeah,
it's at times
yeah,
it feels disrespectful. Dare I say, sometimes it feels a little racist, you know. But
I
you
get
know,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, yeah, it's funny because like that's how like like when friends and when musicians like send me shit, we talk about like that's how I describe stuff to them. You know, like I say like this makes me feel like this sounds like, and like like I try to avoid comparison, but it's just I really just go off of like what it makes me feel. You know, like like just as a quick example before we move on to the child actor project, like like initiation feels like man, I had something for this and now it's gone. Like it feels like biting into a slice of warm cornbread. That's what that song feels
Oh,
like to me,
that was the
you
best thing
know?
ever, bro.
Like
Oh my goodness.
like that's like a like those types of feelings are the things that make music a thing that I want to keep coming back to and revisiting and re-listening and just like stewing in those feelings and listening to those words, and like that's not like a happy song, but like but like it makes me feel warm in that way, like in that very specific way. Like,
Mhm.
and I think you know, like Nat, and you're like the, you know, we're talking about like community, and obviously like shout out to Flower, shout out to Bagel, shout out to all the people you just mentioned, because these are all people who I love, respect. They're friends, or if they're not friends, they're at least people I admire a lot. um so like, you know, you have like Messiah Music produced End on here, and you know, then Child Actor, you and Child Actor link, and a whole project comes from that. So like, how did you link with Child Actor? And I gotta say about Child Actor, if he slash they are listening, shout out to them slash he, because I know it used to be a two-person thing and now they're one person. But every Child Actor beat sounds like a migraine to me, because they like probe, you know, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like, you know, like I love that element. That's like the equivalent of like Pharrell's 4 count. Like it's just like, if it's probing, it's a Child Actor beat, and I love that. But anyway, how did y'all how did you and Child Actor first link and connect, and where, and then when did y'all decide that excuse me, a whole project needed to happen?
Um, so Ajay 2 came onto streaming, I believe. And then Child Actor released the instrumentals for Ajay 2. And then I'm at my internship, and it's like I be listening to music all the time, but like they're high schoolers, so I can't like just bump no crazy shit. So like I'll play like
Yeah.
Doom instrumentals for them. So it was like, this is an instrumental project, I'm gonna play a Jai 2 instrumental, so that shit's just playing in the background, I'm sitting, I'm listening to it, and then I post on my close friend story on IG, and I'm like, yo, I would die to rap on a Child Actor beat, like I'd literally implode on the spot. And Big Flowers apparently screenshotted it and sent it to Child Actor, and was like, "Hey, give this nigga a chance, bruh. He's cool. Here's a couple songs. He's cool." And then Child Actor was like, "Oh, okay. I mean, sure. I got this beat that I really like. No one's really hopped on. If he wants to try this, whoosh." And then that was the beat for Affirmation 2. And then so Michael sent it
Okay.
to me, and it is like, "Yo, happy birthday." It was May. It was nowhere near my birthday. But I'm freaking the fuck out. So I go and I hit Max. And I'm like, yo, thank you. And we start talking and everything. Then I get anxious because I be insecure. So I like kind of disappeared for like 2 months until Arm& Hammer had a fucking pop-up. No, I met Max at the Max. I met him at the Maps release show. And then in the summer, Arm& Hammer had a pop-up, and I pulled through with that. And I was talking with Max or whatever. Really cool dude, really nice person, whatever. But around that time, I did I finally wrote Affirmations 2, and I finished that, and I sent that to Max. And Max was like, "Oh, you're going kind of hard." I'm like, "Yeah, man. I don't know, I like the beat. This is kind of what I do. This is kind of what I was feeling." This was I finished writing Obtuse Ways in April. And so I finished writing it, and I had most of it recorded when I wrote Affirmation 2, because I was in like new headspace. That whole summer, I was like, I'm a rapper. I'm on some rap shit now. And I think that song was like one of the first songs that I'm like, yes, I am Shamar the rapper type thing. So, but anyways, apparently Child Actor just has like hella shit coming up. And I've heard like tiny, tiny bits of it, and it's like, oh my God. But anyways, he was like, "Yeah, I have a lot of shit that's like supposed to come out, but it's taking mad long because releases, bigger artists, you know how it be." So he was like, "I
Yeah.
would love to have something just real quick, done. If like you want to do like a little EP or whatever." And it's like I kind of wanted to hang back. I kind of wanted to hang back after Obtuse Ways. I wrote this really personal, intimate project that was really heavy and reflecting on life. I was like, I'm gonna chill for a little bit, but I'm not gonna say no to my favorite producer. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? So yeah, and then that's how Sunscreen began. This was around the time of the show with Sketch. This is like literally that weekend. That's when he sent me big ass pack, and all of the beats for Sunscreen were in that pack. So I just took the beats, wrote, bounced demos, boom, done. Sunscreen, yay! That was kind of it.
Wow. So how long? I think I remember you saying something about it taking 2 weeks. to like
Yeah,
put.
I was locked in.
Okay, yeah, nah,
I was writing that. I was reading shout outs Caltrops Press. I was rereading
yeah.
the
Shout
issue
out to
on I
Joe.
Told Bessie and the smaller issue he did on 11th Wind. I would get up, I would read that shit, and I would listen to the beats from Child Actor, and I was just chipping at the writing. Beautiful 2 weeks. I remember I wrote REM Sleep. That was the last track I wrote. And it was the
Yep.
day that Open Mike Eagle dropped another Triumph, the new one with the really amazing cover. He
Another
dropped
triumph of
that.
ghetto
So I'm
engineering.
listening to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to
I'm
Mike,
listening
by the
to
way. Yeah.
that. I'm like, bro, Open Mike Eagle. Another one of my I fucking love Open Mike Eagle.
He's so
Bro,
fire,
I'm
bro.
listening to that shit. I'm listening to The Wire season 3, episode 1 with Blue. It's like I need to write right now. This is the best thing ever. But yeah, that's how I wound up finishing. Yeah, it was just quick 2 weeks. I wanted it. I knew that it would be a grand thing for me personally because it's fucking Child Actor, and Child Actor is a larger artist than me. Probably
Right.
up there with like Messiah Music and like that caliber of producers. So I was
Right.
actively trying to like not make it a big deal. I'm like, I'm not gonna do a grand thing. I just want to have fun. This is a fun time. This is a very fun project for me.
Right. And I could tell there's a song on here called Expensive Piss. Like, yeah, this is fun. You know, like like Ants Under Magnification is a big ass posse cut. You know, like Bagel's verse on here is crazy, by the way. I don't know if he's listening. Shout out to
Yo,
Bagel
don't
because
get me
Bagel
started.
Bagel went nuts. You know, like and then I remember when I heard I remember when I first heard Expensive Piss, I thought about Vats of Urine, the Doom song from the from the Danger Mouse album, and just like the idea. I mean, obviously, you're not literally talking about vats of urine or urine like that, but like just the idea of Expensive Piss made me like I chuckle every time I see that, just because like it's a song called Expensive Piss. Like I like that.
Mhm.
Um, but there's two songs here on here in particular that I wanted to talk about, and then the last two. The first being Essex Street, which seems to be everyone's favorite song on here. And there's a reason for that because you
Surprisingly.
went stupid. You went stupid. So like talk to me about hearing the Essex Street beat and putting that song together and the reaction that it's gotten, because yeah, like that's like you said, that seems to be the one for everyone, including me. So
Um, so that was actually the first track that I wrote for the project. I don't know. The beat just really spoke to me. I have my own beat that kind of sounded similar to that, which funnily enough was I originally wrote Initiation to that beat that sounded similar to Essex Street that I
oh
made.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just like those layers there. And then it was just like I really like this beat. I'm just gonna go for it. I had no clue what the project was gonna be about. I had no thoughts. It was kind of just like I'm just gonna write and see what happens. One of my very, very close, near dear friends, shout outs Grace. At that time we weren't talking too much, not for any like particular reason. It was just like niggas is both busy with like life and shit, you know. So I
Yeah.
was just thinking about my relationship with her and I was like, damn, I fucking miss her. So it was kind of just like a little ode to like her and our friendship that really inspired that song, which is why part of the reason why I was surprised that like niggas really, really fucked with this. Cause it's like, bro, this is such a sentimental ass song, at least to me, you know. On the notion of cartoons and shit, hopefully Spotify isn't listening to this. But the fucking little sample at the beginning is from Phineas and Ferb, the movie, I believe. The meme with the if I had two nickels. That's like the whole idea of that whole first portion, just like fucking with that meme. I was just thinking about that, thinking about childhood and all of that. When I would meet up with Grace, we would meet over by Essex Street, the train stop
Yeah.
in Manhattan. But I grew up on Essex Street over in my neighborhood, so there was just like that layer there. Um, Footprints was a chapbook that I made for Grace for her birthday in 2020, and I took some of the lines from that song. Is literally just ripped from that little chapbook I did from her. So it was just like, yeah. And I don't know, just like with the flow, it's like I'd be insecure when the drums be like doing a little drumming too much. Like not even to get on expensive piss, but I love that beat. That beat scared the fuck out of me. What do I do? But I'm gonna try it. But yeah, but I was like, I'm just gonna do my thing. Like I remember a child actor was telling me when he first heard it, he thought I was like ducking the beats. Oh shit. Hold
Mm,
on. Yeah, he felt not ducking the beats. He felt like I was ducking the drums, but then he listened more and he's like, no, wait, there's something here. There's something cool
got
here,
it.
which I really appreciate it. But yeah, um, fun track. Fun track, sentimental track. That track means a lot to me. It's grown on me a lot, independent of everyone else really liking it. I performed it at the Obtuse Ways / sunscreen preview release show, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
I love this track. This is fun.
Yeah, no, the way a live performance can like really recontextualize a track is so underrated and always a beautiful experience. And like the thing about this last track, REM sleep, that really got me is like I had always noticed this before, but it really felt so prevalent. Like your delivery, like not even just like your flow, but like half the time you're rapping, you sound like you're like right in the sweet spot between bliss and like a nervous breakdown. And like your voice will just like crack really crazy. And at the very end of REM sleep, the beat kind of fades out and it's just you, and you sound like you're about to burst into fucking tears because like your voice is cracking, and that really makes the end of that song land so crazy for me because it's really like that whole song is kind of in between this like happy and sad place to me. So like talk to me about recording that song and why you decided to just let the song ride out with just your voice at the end, because it really does like that's like I feel like that's like a Rosetta Stone moment for like the appeal of what you do and how you do it.
Um, So with the why I decided to write out. So like for the demo, that was just like that's that length of the beat minus the little intro part. That was just like the length of the beat. So when I did the
Mm-hmm.
demo and like more unpolished demo, it kind of just happened that way. I was like, I'm gonna repeat the hook a little more, and then it was fading out, and I was like, oh, that was cool. I'm gonna keep that idea for the final version. So that was just like it just happened that way. It was cool. I guess more on like the delivery and like the nervous breakdown thing. I mean, yeah, I was really finna cry. I was really finna cry. Actually, with that song, there's I always notice it. Visceral dreams mix with dark noise with the light. In the somewhere in the beginning, I say a word wrong where it's like echolocate sun under eyelids moving coast to coast through margins, but it's supposed to be like from margins. But I was just like so passionate that it became through margins, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep this take. It's fucking whatever. No one cares. But yeah, kind of like a similar situation with Drew Street, where it was like Drew Street was like when I did the fucking demo, I cried. When I obviously when I do it live, I cried, and when I did like the final take, I had a fucking breakdown that I had to like, okay, I'm gonna take this part out, but like I'm gonna keep this part of Drew Street. And REM Sleep was kind of like a similar thing. It's like the beat just hits for me, and my lyrics just that sweet spot is like prime time for Shamar to cry. So it was just like being in that sweet spot or whatever. I think that's kind of why. And it's like I'm comfortable with like being like, yeah, I'm finna cry. So
Yeah.
it's like if the like for me, it's I can just tell when the take is the take. And I was like, this is the take. I didn't fuck up anything too crazy. So this is the take. And then it was just a lot of like building up on top of that. I feel like, especially during my verse, I think my flow on that verse in particular is like so fucking crazy. That's like probably my proudest moment, probably that, and like the fact that expensive piss exists, or like, oh, and Skytrain's like my best song, but that's besides the point. But the fact that like that flow and exists is like, I'm so cool, you know? So just like all of those feelings coming together birthed me wanting to cry at the end of the song.
And then like that all just comes full circle with like how fun this project is. And I guess sometimes like a part of fun is letting it all out and just like
No, yeah,
crying about some
absolutely.
shit, like that's a like I think sunscreen is a really cool and fun project because of that. Like this really like this is only your third project, and you're like you've already developed so much, and you have such a strong, distinct voice. Like some people take a while to find their voice, but you found it from jump, and you've just been like tinkering with it in these ways. And like this is the type of thing that this is the type that like not to get too hyperbolic, but this is the type of shit that you like build a career on. Like this is like these are like the building blocks that will take you wherever. And I think y'all did great work. I don't have
Love.
any like questions or like thoughts to add other than like this is dope. It's really cool to see you take it upon yourself and like really push yourself. That's another thing. Like I can tell you're pushing yourself when you make all this stuff. Um, and that's not an easy thing to do in any aspect of life, but especially creatively. So like you trust yourself enough to go a little over the edge and like wring the best take out of it, and that's tight.
Mm,
um
yeah.
and
Mm.
to wrap all this up, um because I think this would make a great segue. Shamar, if your life was a movie, what would it be about? I have a feeling I might know, but I want to
Uh,
see what you say.
what would it be about? It would definitely be about masculinity, bro. It'd be like
Hmm.
on literally what we were talking about, Mo Better Blues. I feel like that would be the shit it would be about. Kind of like accepting yourself, rejecting like I don't know, traditional ideas of like masculinity as a man ass nigga bullshit, bro. I think that's
Hmm.
definitely I feel like that's like if I were to think of the past few years, that's been my character arc. But it's like the past few years have become me reflecting on my childhood and being like, oh yeah, this is a straight line. This makes so much sense. I'm dealing with these things, or I'm like,
Yeah.
now I'm thinking about this particular thing or whatever. On the notion of sunscreen, I think sunscreen is everything I do is about masculinity. But like, if you want to talk about masculinity and sunscreen takes that line and just drags it beyond my own life into like my parents, my grandparents, my lineage being like a Black American or whatever. So probably about that. I also feel like I don't know. I think a movie about me like wouldn't even really be about me. I think it'd be about like other niggas and like my relationship with other niggas because I really value like my friendships in particular. I really really fucks with them. My friends are cool. All my friends are like the
Yeah,
craziest
man.
people ever. You know.
That's beautiful, that like it's beautiful that you could bring yourself in, but also just like seed space to the people who matter to you and who help bring all the stuff you do to life. And yeah, like obviously masculinity is a thing that everyone should be probing and, like examining, questioning, um, what's the word? Why are words leaving me today? Unlearning. There we go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Like just and like and yeah, but and like I don't want that to get lost either, because I don't think that I've like explicitly said it, but I do really appreciate that about your music as well. That you're so willing to not just like explore the concept, but like you know probe yourself and like really like examine how you play into it and how you're trying to get out of that, because I think that's the only way any of us move forward. I try my best to do that every day. And I try to keep community with people who are doing that to some extent. Like nobody's perfect. And, it's all a process, like we're all being worked on by whoever or by ourselves. But like, like stuff like this, like doing it on record, like people see that, people see you and you make people feel seen, and I'm excited to see how that develops and how you continue to help people feel seen as like you're what, you're 22, you're turning 22 this year.
Yeah. I just turned 22. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, right. What yeah, why am I saying like your birthday didn't just happen? Like you're like you're a fresh-faced 22-year-old, and this, like, you're here already, like, yeah, like imagine, like I think all the time about about the quote from Men in Black that Tommy Lee Jones tells Will Smith when they're sitting on the bench, where he's just like where he's like X amount of years ago, everyone knew that the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everyone knew that the Earth, or no, excuse me, like X amount of years ago, everyone knew the Earth was flat. X amount of years ago, everyone knew the Earth is the center of the universe. And 15 minutes ago, you thought you were alone, or 15 minutes ago, you knew you were alone in
Yeah.
this universe. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow. Like
Mm,
that's kind of how I feel looking at all that you've done so far. Like imagine where you'll be tomorrow. Imagine where you'll be in 2 weeks, in 2 months. Like so, just to like thank you. Like this was this
thank
bro,
you,
bro.
man.
This was such a great talk. Like like I feel like I'm ready to go back to sunscreen with a lot of this internal, all the music really, but sunscreen in particular. So just like thank you for your thoughtfulness, thank you for your candor, thank you for thanks for appreciating Robert Rodriguez kids movies as much as I do. Yeah, this is great,
Thank you
man.
for making
Appreciate
space
you.
for me, man. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, man. Don't get me started.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
I'm just here. I appreciate everyone embracing me with open arms for all of this shit. Like your support, just like as someone who's like, like the respect is very mutual, obviously, but like I don't know. It just means a lot. It just means a lot to hold space for people whose work and perspective I respect a lot. And like y'all are really killing it right now. Like you fucking Sun Mundi and Clown Cat's project is amazing.
oh,
Fucking J Cinema and Chowie shit
oh,
is like y'all are killing it right now. Like like y'all are this is the first time I've ever said this. Y'all are like the next y'all like the next generation. Like you're next up. Like you're just like you're chiseling and putting the shit together now. And when things really pop, you
yeah.
know, like
Hopefully,
so just
yeah,
like, like thank you for being here. And I'm really happy to like shed a little light on this because more people need to be listening to this shit, you know?
yeah. I'm bad at taking compliments, bro. I'm just happy to be here.
I'm the exact same way. I'm just like people caring is a lot. So I get it,
Yeah,
but
literally.
just stew in that. That's all you got to do is just stew in it. Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.